So much for tuning in to my channel. Thank y'all so much for y'all support. Thank y'all for supporting my channel, watching my videos and this content and what it is that God has me doing in this hour, right? So listen, y'all, I want to talk about the inner intimacy experience, right? Because when you think about inner intimacy, you got to have inner intimacy with yourself first before you can even have inner intimacy with somebody else, right? And so you got to go through this transformative, okay? It's a spiritual awakening. It's like an alignment, right? Within your soul, within yourself, within your mind and your spirit, right? And in your body, because it's designed, why? It's to help you to build a deeper relationship. See, it's a lot of people in this world, y'all. They don't have a deep relationship with themselves. They don't understand themselves, right? They don't understand their self-worth. They don't understand even, how to just be intimate with self. And before you can be intimate with somebody else, you got to learn how to be intimate with yourself, right? So this is how you manifest your soulmate, a soulmate connection, y'all, by aligning with your spiritual purpose, right? You need to understand what it is that God will have you to do spiritually, okay? So this is where spiritual marriage comes in at, right? And it's where one marries their soul to the eternal love of God, right? It's kind of like my book, y'all, Broken Covenant, rejecting the spirit of a harlot, right? It's how this woman, she had played the harlot, y'all, with many lovers. And finally, after understanding her true worth in God, when this woman, she became broken, she became shattered, right? She returned back to her God, the God of Israel. Thy maker was thy husband. The Holy One of Israel is his name. He was this woman's redeemer. Okay. So when she became married to the eternal soul, okay, when her soul, became married to the eternal love of God. Okay. So you got to be married to God first before you be married to somebody else. You got to come into a covenant relationship with God. Okay, or you ain't gonna respect your marriage covenant, right? So listen, you gotta respect God, and that comes with understanding who you are, understanding your worth, and knowing how to respect yourself, right? Having self-respect for yourself so that you can marry your soul to the eternal love of God, right? So this is where that inner intimacy, y'all, it come in at, okay? I'm talking about from a holistic approach. It combines the spiritual with the mental, with the emotional growth, okay? And it takes you on a journey through self-love and connection with your soul companion. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the inner intimacy, y'all. Experience, having this experience, right? Because spiritual marriage is the foundation for all other relationships, right? And I'm talking about, though, particularly the union between a man and a woman, right? So this is why you got to understand that, okay, this inner intimacy experience, y'all, it ain't just no social contract either. It ain't just no social contract, but a divine pattern set by God for unity on the physical, mental, and spiritual plane, okay? And so through this experience that you have, this inner intimacy, right? So what does it do? What does it do, y'all? Okay, you're going to shed them old limiting beliefs, okay? You develop trust in your soul, and then you deepen your connection with the divine, right? I'm talking about spiritual marriage. So what does it do? It will help you to connect with your higher self, and it's going to align you with your spiritual purpose, right? Okay. You got to understand, though, the principles of spiritual marriage and how to focus on the unity of the body and the mind and the spirit, right? And then it's like you go through that process of overcoming limiting beliefs so that it won't hinder your self-love and the relationship fulfillment that you have within, right? And then you'll be able to cultivate, y'all. See, you got to learn how to cultivate that trust in your soul's journey, right? And then you have to attract soul companions. Through what? Spiritual magnetism. Okay? So listen, y'all. This is why God is using me. If you want to learn how to deepen your connection to God, okay? And your soulmate. You do this, y'all, through spiritual marriage. Right? This is what you do. So you understand how to integrate principles of self-love, spiritual marriage, and then soul connection, right? You got to understand. See, people don't understand what the purpose is of a divine marriage, okay? They don't understand this. They don't know how to explore their connection, okay, between God, soul, and spirit. And then you got to understand your current beliefs. What's the block in other relationships that you may have, right? How do you cultivate a healthy relationship with yourself? How do you build the foundation, y'all, of self-worth and confidence, okay? How do you understand how your self-love, it will impact all your other relationships? So this is why people don't understand divine purpose. God, listen, it was a divine purpose for marriage. You don't just get married because you married. It was for a divine purpose. What was the purpose for y'all coming together? So listen, everything happens, y'all, for a purpose. Everything is for a purpose, okay? Whether it's in your personal life or your business life, okay? So listen, y'all, this is good. Because I'm talking about spiritual marriage. I'm talking about self-love and self-worth. I'm talking about how do you overcome those limited beliefs, right? You got to have an inner intimacy experience. You got to go through this experience first with God before you can have it on a divine soul level with a companion. Okay? So listen. This is deep, y'all. I'm talking about, listen, I'm talking about how to be intimate with yourself. You got to go. A lot of people, they don't know themselves. You got to know your self-worth out here. You can't be playing, y'all, in these streets. Y'all know what I tell you. You got to listen. You got to listen. You got to be intimate with yourself, baby, before you can be intimate with anybody else. Okay? You got to strengthen your relationship with the divine. You got to understand why God, what's the role he playing in your life? Okay. Understand God's role in life and in marriage. Okay. You got to align with your divine purpose. Okay. To enhance your connection with other people, right? You got to align with your purpose, y'all. Everybody got a purpose, right? But then you got to understand, how do I go through this manifestation of a soulmate? How do I manifest this thing, right? Okay. So listen, I'm talking about practical steps, y'all, for attracting your soulmate, aligning your intentions with your soul's desire. Okay. How do you build a sustainable, see, relationships, they can be built, but see, some people, they ain't got that type of sustaining power. Okay. And see, divine marriage, okay, that aligns with the divine purpose of God. You got to have sustainable power. You got to have sustaining power. You got to understand the art of sustainment. You got to understand how to how to sustain a thing is what I'm trying to say. Because I'm about to get tongue tied over here trying to teach y'all this thing. You got to have sustaining power. Okay. You don't get married today and then you leave tomorrow. You got to sustain. You got to listen. You got to be the anchor. Okay. In the storm, y'all, of the sea. You got to have sustaining power. Okay. You got to have spiritually fulfilling relationships with yourself first, though. You got to have this relationship that you want with other people. You got to have it with yourself. If you don't have it with yourself, you ain't going to have it with nobody else. Okay? I'm just here to tell y'all the truth, right? So, I'm talking to women that want to understand how to have a deeper spiritual fulfillment in their own life. Okay. I'm talking to the woman that is struggling with limited beliefs around relationships and self-worth, right? I'm talking about singles, right? seeking a soulmate or spiritual marriage. And then also couples, because couples, you got some people out there, okay, and they don't understand how to strengthen their connection, okay, and align more deeply on a spiritual plane. And then it might even be for spiritual seekers, y'all, this inner intimacy experience, okay, for those that are interested in having a personal transformation and grow. How do you grow in the higher spiritual realms of God? How do you ascend, okay, to the angelic realms? Okay, how do you get to the angel of his presence, right? How do I learn how to speak face to face with God? This is what I'm talking about. All right, you got to have sustaining power. Okay, you got to understand how to get there, y'all. And it's through this inner intimacy experience, right? So you got to understand also that when we're talking about sustainability, okay, sustainability is strengthening your support physically or mentally, okay? You strengthen or support something. You sustain it throughout the years, right? You comfort, you help, you assist, you encourage, you support, okay? You got to go through. You got to suffer, right? Sometimes sustainability means that you suffer. You endure like a good soldier, right? See, here I am. Everything I do and talk about, y'all, it lead me back to spiritual warfare. Because, see, I teach you how to go from the kingdom of darkness to the kingdom of light. How do you go from the kingdom of darkness to light? So when you suffer, when you go through hardship, when you go through distress, when you go through misery, when you go through adversity, okay, this is what builds, y'all, your sustainability. You got to understand how to sustain a divine spiritual marriage with yourself, having an inner intimacy experience first, and then with your spouse, okay? You got to understand how that process works, because when something is sustained, you go through, you suffer, it's something unpleasant, okay? It may cause an injury, all right? And it may cause you to continue or to be prolonged for an extended period, okay, without interruption. You got to have sustainability power, okay, to have an inner intimacy experience, y'all. So listen, this is what I wanted to talk about with y'all today. I got some more messages that I got to get out. I'm talking about, listen, how to develop a deep sense of inner peace and attraction within yourself, y'all. I'm talking about spiritual marriage and the power of self-love and self-worth, right? Okay, I'm talking about this inner intimacy, y'all, experience. See, this is something that a lot of people have not yet had. You got to learn how to be intimate with yourself before you can actually, okay, be intimate with a man or woman. Okay, and I'm talking about spiritual marriage, okay, in a divine pattern. Listen, in a divine contract. This is a contract that is divinely, okay, ordained by God, okay. It ain't just no social contract, but a divine pattern set by God, y'all, for unity on the physical, mental, and spiritual plane, okay? And so you don't want to hinder, your self-love and your relationship fulfillment. So this is why you got to understand and undergo the inner intimacy experience, y'all. So this is something that I can help you with, right? Because this is something that I had to go through. I had to go through this process, okay? You go through this process before you even get married. You got to learn how to have an inner intimacy experience, right? You got to learn how to build a deep relationship with yourself. You got to understand your own self-worth, okay? In order for you to be able to manifest a soul connection, okay? This is something that you have to do for yourself, okay? So listen, y'all, if you ready to go through that transformative, okay, experience and build a deeper relationship with yourself, get ready. Get ready to have this inner intimacy experience, y'all. Because, listen, you have to learn the importance of spiritual marriage, okay? Where you marry your soul to the eternal love of God. Love y'all.